What's good, people? It's your man CJ Fresh, battling the forces of whackness since 1982. You are now listening to the Solid Podcast, hosted by my main man, Doc Rock.
ドッグロックによるザ・ソリッドポッドキャストをお届けいたします。
This is the dumbest thing to take this long to put a podcast together.
And here he is, my Uncle Doc. He's smart.
Believe me.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Solid Podcast. This is Season 2, Episode 2, and I am your host, Doc Rock. That is me. I am the host of this show. For those of you who don't know, or you're just catching this by accident, you can always find us on solid.fm. This is going to be a live recording today, and I will edit out for content and fix any of Ryan's hellacious swearing or loud Chinese laugh. I'll edit that out, and then it'll be available on solid.fm after the fact. But for right now, let me introduce my first guest. This is my buddy in crime, my homeboy, my attorney at times, and just a hella cool
Not
guy.
all the time.
It's Ryan. Ryan Hew.
Hello, thanks for having me. I'm glad we finally got to do this. Love hanging out with you, love listening to you, love represent. No, I'm just kidding. Because you get into so much trouble.
Well, you know, it's my job to get in trouble.
Yeah, but what do I always say? You're not having fun if you aren't getting in a little bit of trouble.
Oh,
right?
There you go. That is so true. We got some people joining us on the thing. Hey, it's Marcus Landsberg, attorney at law as well. How you doing, Marcus? Good to see you. I don't know. It could be Marcus. It could be the kid. The kid's probably, baby Marcus is watching. He's like, Dad,
another future lawyer.
Get off the phone, Dad. I'm on the internet.
Another future lawyer.
So, Ryan, explain to folks about yourself who don't know who is R.K. Hew Esquire.
Didn't you give them all loud Chinese, kind of obnoxious attorney?
That was the basics.
I think you get.
That was the absolute basics.
Okay, well, I'm trying to recall how we first met. How did we meet again?
Probably a tweet up of some sort.
Oh, right. Thanks, Melissa. Anyway.
I blame Melissa.
Yes, we blame Melissa
Everything that goes down, I blame Melissa. I'll just put it in that large fat thing closer to your lips.
Oh, I love that. I love it. Just put it right there in my mouth. But anyway. I think I met Doc when he first started a co-working space, and I was starting out as an attorney, and my goal was to help a lot of small businesses, and I really loved what was going down in Kaka'ako. There was a lot of entrepreneurial spirit and vibe. Just like Doc, serial business owner, man of many trades and many interests, and there were a whole bunch of people, and so I wanted to start that out, and I started out really focusing on social media and the law and aspects. Remember I used to do those talks?
Those talks were amazing, bro. I got a question. Do you remember my nickname for Kaka'ako?
No, I actually don't. I really don't.
The cock block.
Oh, that's right.
Because at one time, Kaka'ako, everything was contained to one block, F block, right? So when everybody used to talk about the various blocks, even though my building, which is technically B block, I think, my building's been here for 30 plus years. But when Kamehameha decided to take over and revamp everything, they segmented it out into blocks. And the primary, salt and all of that, that was considered F block. And so I used to call it the cock block because that's where everything was on that block.
That's right.
Now it's spread out and there's more things. And they hate when I say it, so I say it 10 times as much just due to the fact that
It just rubs them the wrong way. Right. That's right.
Yeah.
I thought you were referring to Kaka'ako because everybody was down here like it was crack. Not that I'm advocating for that, but
it was back in the day.
Morning, noon, and night. And then what was that small Vietnamese little cafe by the family? Back when before because you would always say come down for sandwiches. They're open whenever, and I would come and hang out. So
Insomnia.
Yeah, so that was right.
That's
Insomnia
the OG. It's
was
still here.
Yeah,
that's the OG spot.
But it was perfect for all of that, right? Everybody was always here and always there. So that's kind of how I got my start. Now I'm just managing partner and starting to grow my law firm, and we still do business stuff, but we've added commercial litigation and personal injury and immigration services, and we're expanding to California.
Oh, you about to be busy if our man in charge, the head Cheeto, keeps messing around. Okay, Nohea, I know how to say Kamehameha. He's giving me crap. Way to go, Hawaiian. Thanks, Ba. Thanks. Anyway, hi, Nohea. Hey, Ryan Ozawa, the other Ryan. Hi, Ryan.
Hey.
It's cool. I'm glad that Ryan's here. So besides, I mean, I know. Yeah, let's speak English. English. You know what? Another sip of whiskey. Hold on, real quick.
No, it's tea. Just tea.
Oh,
Just kidding.
This is an amazing tea bourbon that you bought me. What's the name of this?
Larceny.
Wait, but you're the business attorney. If I do larceny, I might need Marcus.
Probably.
Okay, so I know you do immigration law, but you also deal with helping small businesses and copyright stuff, trademark stuff. Am I all in the right?
Yeah. So usually a lot of times I get small business owners that first start up and they don't have an MBA, they just have an idea or a dream and wish, and then the tough motherly love from the Asian tiger mom kind of side comes out and is like, I kind of have to set them straight on copyright, trademark, what does this all mean, and then kind of shaping and kind of molding that idea to kind of get them to deal with the formalities. You've seen the logo, so I always say providing the formalities because it's our logo is like a little tie.
That's cool. A little tie.
Yeah. I always like to say providing the formalities.
I was thinking of who I could tease for being a little tie, but yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't.
That's for another show. That's for Solid After Dark.
Okay. Whoa, we're gonna go to that now. Solid After Dark. That's funny. I gotta make sure that
adult businesses are still businesses.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I'm gonna I think it makes sense to me.
There are sometimes I get phone calls. Can I start this? Is this a legitimate business? Are you selling crack or anything? So long as you stay away from illegalities. So long as you get licensing, permitting, or you just check that there aren't regulations or that you are under the regulations.
Get the health regulations correct.
In terms of food service, I was thinking and things like that too.
I was thinking about service.
Oh no, we're not. So we're not Nevada.
Oh, we're not going to advocate service.
Again, you have to check. Every state is different, right?
Okay, wait. I'm just cracking up laughing because I had a serious question to get sort of on your radar, but I keep getting stuck in cracking stupid jokes.
I apologize to everybody listening and watching live. I just threw his mind in the gutter. I apologize. That was not my intent.
I'm gonna dig it back out of the gutter, go back to where I can monitor who's typing what into the thing. Hi, Bill. Good to see you there, and my brother-in-law Corey's here. Yeah. So while we're talking, first thing I want to do, because the whole point of Solid Podcast is I have a saying that I completely stole, and right now I'm not even going to try to remember who said it because I should know this, but I don't. And the general quote is, we will all be better when we all be better. Or some people say we will all do better when we all do better. Mm-hmm. Meaning that as much as you like to complain about everybody else doing something to ruin your fucking life, I just want to hurry break the explicit tag real quick. You are also probably slightly responsible for ruining somebody else's fucking life. So if you stop doing onto others, sometimes you got to just take one. Sometimes you got to fight. It's a balance, right? It's knowing when's the right place to go. So that was the point of the Solid Podcast. And I've been wanting to have you on because you're a highly intelligent guy, even though you crack jokes 24/7. One of the things that I wanted to first clarify, because I'm going to better myself today. Today I learned something I absolutely know I should know. Ambiently, I probably do know. But since I am unsure, I'm going to ask the question. What the hell is the difference between Esquire, attorney, and lawyer, and counselor?
Right. So not much. In American legal system, they all kind of refer to the same profession, and usually that's somebody who has passed the bar exam in whatever state and is a licensed attorney, lawyer, or whatever, practicing under the law. There used to be different meanings and kind of interpretations, a lot of our American jurisprudence, judicial history, and things like
Jewish prudence? Sorry, Marcus.
Prudence.
No, Jurist, I got it. I know how to say JD.
Yeah, a lot of it came from England, right? So we actually in law school, it's hilarious because they use some some old English law cases to talk about common law and things like that about contracts. I think it's a hoot to read, but of course other people roll their eyes. But anyway, the differentiation between all those words really matters, and that's why more in the English system, because I can never get it correct, but there's a difference between a solicitor and a barrister. Yeah, and so there's in terms of what you can do. And actually, what I learned, because my assistant just got their notary public, was I believe in Latin-speaking countries that notario publico serves a slightly different function than our notary publics. So, I mean, even though they sound the same or it's similar, you know, you always have to check. But for us, my reaction is that's all the same thing to me. What I did learn, though, when I was trying to figure out social media and stuff like that back in the day, because I just remember when we first started, I was like, I don't understand all this Facebook and Instagram. That was like 5 years ago. I can't believe I've known you that long. But anyway.
And then now we can't get you off of damn Facebook.
Yeah, well, yeah. I was posting at 3 a.m. in the morning. But anyway, I learned that, I forgot, Google's algorithm liked attorney better than lawyer, I believe. I don't know if that's still the case, but I know in terms of searching is that attorney seem to get more hits than lawyer.
I like Esquire because it sounds dope. Well, I'm glad that I have you here because I'm probably going to get sued by DJ Elite, who just joined, because he loves red and black, and I just decided that I like red and black for this show, so I have red and black overlays. Don't get mad, Joe.
I love red and black, even though they are the opposite school colors.
Yeah, well, I know you like it because it makes you look like an evil villain.
Well, you know, anything that makes you look like an Imperial, or I guess it's the First Order. Did you see the new Star Wars film yet?
No, I didn't, and that's so strange, right? Because anybody that knows me, knows my office, I'm Star Wars to the gate. I have been so busy, I haven't had a chance to watch it, and I really, really want to watch it.
Well, every time I come here, I kind of want to make off with all your stuff.
Don't steal my stuff, because then you'll need an attorney and a casket.
I'll borrow it for a long time.
All right, so I have another question. First of all, hello, Eddie. My little sister Eddie has joined us. So a lot of people sort of mix up the terminology between, say, a trademark or a registered trademark or a service mark or a patent. Like, without getting inside baseball, you know, first of all, we're not giving legal advice on the Solid Podcast. We just want to help clarify some things so that folks can sort of know when is the right time to do what, you know. So I guess an easy way to explain it, what's the primary difference between, say, a trademark, a service mark, or what was the other one I said?
Patent.
A patent, yes.
And I think you're missing copyright.
Copyright.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm missing copyright then.
Well, I think that was like, I would say for your podcast, like copyright would be, you know, kind of paramount of importance too, but...
Yeah, you steal any of my stuff, I from the New York school to kick your ass.
No, he's really not. He's like a teddy bear.
Actually, I'm Creative Commons. I kind of sort of don't believe in copyright, and I'm not going to go jacking anybody's stuff, but I'm Creative Commons. I hope that somebody can steal my stuff and share it with somebody that they can still pass on the lesson. To me, that's the way it should be, because our system is hella flawed. But anyway, do your thing.
Yeah, so sure, I get this question a lot. Like I said, first-time business owners, they just kind of have a jumble of ideas, and they're like, I want to protect everything and whatnot, but... Usually the way the discussion comes up is that I want to trademark my name, and you don't really trademark a name. So the interesting thing for at least two of the intellectual properties, that's trademark and copyright, is the way you get rights accrues really quickly, more so than what people believe. They always feel like you got to register it, and I'm like, no, registration is only for notice or claiming you have ownership. But anyway, starting out with trademark. Trademark is any device, word, phrase, logo, even scent, color, and things like that.
Scent?
Yeah.
What?
Because the whole idea of what a trademark is, it identifies your goods and services against all others. That is, it's an identifying tool of the source of the goods and services. It literally is, I know attorneys are like, oh, you guys speak gobbledygook, or... I had one person say, I don't understand what you're saying. You're speaking Chinese to me. I'm like, sir, you do realize I am Chinese, right? Anyway, it's just an identifying kind of marker type of situation is what a trademark literally is. So usually the easiest way, because people understand tactile, is the trademark isn't the logo on your t-shirt. The trademark is the tag or the packaging with the logo that's saying that this t-shirt is coming from one company. That is a better way to kind of clarify and kind of get it to understand. And the reason why, you know, you want brand protection is that you want to identify your goods and services, where they're coming from. For services, they'll use things like business cards, letterhead, websites, right? And they'll display their logo or their catchphrase or things like that. Back to scents, sounds, and things like that. I believe, I can't remember, but the way I first learned about trademark, I believe Harley Davidson even tried to trademark their trademark motorcycle sound when you revved up the.
I've heard that certain car manufacturers, their muffler sound is trademark.
And so for colors, like the Tiffany blue box, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that's trademark. Copyright, the easiest way I usually try and explain it is songs, movies, I love comic books. So I always kind of use my examples for comic book rights, from starting off with Marvel's, comic books. Then because people don't understand is, why does Fox have this, and because those were all licensing deals over copyright.
Right.
So anyway, all those kind of content geared production kind of things generally falls into copyright. And with those two situations, with trademark, you get rights as soon as you start using it in trade.
Okay.
So a lot of people are like, I got to register it. I was like, well, if you're not using it, what are you registering, right? And so the other situation with copyright is, I always like to say the phrase pen to paper. As soon as you reduce your idea to a tangible medium, so getting a little legalese, that's when the rights are created.
So that could be paper or computer nowadays, right?
Yeah,
if I'm typing out a script, I'm sort of putting pen to paper by the current vernacular.
Yeah. So you'll appreciate this. Software code and stuff like that, that's all copyrightable.
Nice. Oh yeah, that's true. Because you don't want anybody to jack your app or,
Well, if you spent this whole time to creating a unique code, and you create a unique kind of program and things like that, yeah, you can register it for a copyright. So we protect things that are reduced to a tangible medium. The ones that I always have to get people kind of divorced from this idea, pun not intended, but a lot of people feel like I came up with that idea, so I have rights to that. And we really don't. We don't really protect rights in what's kind of trademark or copyright. You gotta make something of it.
Right. Well, that's what the patent trolls do, right? They basically say they came up with the idea, or they apply for the patents, or they try to show some way that they thought of sliding a phone-like object from left to right to unlock screen. It's like, you kind of really thought of that, but you didn't do anything to bring it to force, so that's why Apple kind of wins those cases, because they physically made it.
So for clarification with the patent situation, of the others, this is one where registration matters. File is things like that, because really what you're saying is, I've come up with some type of novel invention, process, or method, and that the government is going to issue me a patent. That means I have a monopoly, a government monopoly about creating or exploiting this. So what patent trolls usually do is that they will look for defunct companies or companies going under, or patents not being used but still registered as a patent, buy or gain control of that patent, and then enforce those patents without really producing. They're just really enforcing rights on the patent, because all a patent is a government-backed monopoly. It says that this inventor or person who has a patent, or whoever company has this patent, has rights to exploit the patent for only set amount of years. So that's what patent trolling really kind of boils down to, is people felt it was really unfair that, well, the original company or who the inventor wasn't really making much use of this, and just because I have a similar invention, process, or method or something like that, you're just suing me and exploiting the patent.
Got it.
And so that's where patent trolling kind of came about. And yeah, I mean, some attorneys, I think Texas kind of specialize in that.
West Texas or something like that specifically, right? I forgot if it was West Texas or East Texas, but I know that one of the districts was highly lenient on the subject, so a lot of people do their work there.
So, I mean, you could take the more like the market-based approach. Well, if there's a market for it, somebody will exploit it. And then, in terms of fairness side, I was like, this isn't what the system intended. The funny thing is that patents and copyright is found in our Constitution. It basically tells Congress to make laws for all arts and inventions so they're enshrined there in terms of the laws creating and protection for them.
Cool. I find it funny because I know when people come up with ideas, one of the first, I think, and again, this is purely my opinion, I technically don't know jack, so don't listen to me. I think one of the first.
I listen to you all the time. What are you talking about? I always enjoy I was like, that's why we came up with it. I was like, solid ideas, right? Solid.
Well, I think one of the things that people first do when they start a business or they got a new idea, one of the first things that comes up is people start throwing around these NDAs, which I think are kind of funny. The friend DAs, even better. And I think people still can't get their head around the idea. For the most part, whenever you have some crazy idea, someone's probably also simultaneously working on it. So a lot of times the idea of don't talk about it, be about it is a lot more important in the business or the creative space. Like, it's better for you to physically make it and put it out there, even if you're not baked, like sharing it on the internet and talking about this is what I'm going for and things like that. You're sort of building a use platform, right? But if you're hiding in your basement and hiding from everybody because you think someone's going to steal it, then by the time you actually come out with it, somebody else will have also already come out with it, and you kind of have no case to fall on because you haven't peacocked your idea, so to speak. I
love that term, peacocking.
For lack of a better word, right? So, what's up, Day? Gotta say what's up to Day and say what's up to Craig. Hello, Craig. Oh, Gary Garma. Oh man, this guy is the guy who gave me the idea to want to become a designer. I think it's the same guy. I'm gonna assume it's him.
I love all his t-shirt designs, right? Slay.
Yeah, okay, so you know who that is. Yeah, cool.
Anyway, wait, what was your? Oh, right. So ideas and share. Yeah. So I always get this a lot too. Is that people will come and be like, I have a really great idea, but I don't want anybody to steal it, and anybody I talk to, they have to sign this 5-10 page NDA. I was like, okay. So do you have like a prototype? Is it anything? It's just an idea, and I just want people to sign it. I was like, are you entering any type of business relationship? No, I just want them to sign it so I can talk to them. Oh, okay. So, yeah, and I was like, on a pragmatic level, I was like, if that's the first way that you approach, just from a business perspective, your relationships and things like that, and I'm always one for formalities. The thing is that, if there's no value or worth in it, then somebody won't really take your idea anyway to begin with. Right. And so there's that whole situation. And on top of that, to some degree for business owners, and my role as a business counselor or business attorney advising them about legal risks and things like that, is that usually I tell them, it's a business. If you don't want any risk or anything, then don't do business. I was like, there is some inherent risk in doing things. And yes, the job of the attorney is to advise them to mitigate risk, but that risk never goes down to zero. It was like you will always have, right? It's kind of like every action will have an equal and opposite reaction kind of situation, using thermodynamics to apply to legal situations. But yeah, I mean, the thing is people need to kind of set their expectations, because usually what's correlated or attached to that I notice from these types of questions is, I want you to help set up my business and I don't want to be sued for anything. Okay. So I'm like, we can help. We can do asset protection, minimize risk by drafting contracts, risk shifting. And then, I always advise getting good insurance policies and things like that. But it also matters on you if you're a small business and owner operator, and I get it because it's just me and my partner and assistant at my firm, and right, the thing is you get tired, there's a lot of things you're doing and stuff like that, but the thing is that you do make mistakes, whether it's a costly mistake or not. I think that's why planning and decision making and kind of thorough understanding of the way the law works is helpful, as opposed to going with the mindset that everything I'm going to do is perfect and I'm never going to get sued. I'm completely immune to this situation.
And I think I'm glad you brought up something, the whole idea, like if you're not in the risk, like don't get into business. People have some idea like this stuff is easy, and it's not. We make it look easy, and some people not so much. But I mean, for the most part, most business guys make it look easy. I think also a misconception is everyone thinks that being self-employed somehow means you're instantly rich.
No.
It's not. Or the other one is that we're on vacation all the time. And I think part of that is on us because we're out and about where, if I'm out having lunch, I'm still working, bro. You know what I mean?
But
Trust me.
That's all a part of business development. And I always
Thank you. Business development.
I always tell people
that's
that
my excuse for going to the bar. Business development. So when Day and I are drinking at Barla the Apron, we're checking on the wood for the bar that he made to make sure that it's still stable.
But I mean, all tongue in cheek. They actually had good cheeks, right? When that was a special. Anyway, sorry, I love food, and I'm thinking about dinner. But that actually is all about business relationships and development, right? It was like you're a part of a community, and that's especially here in Hawaii. Who do you go to for referrals and things like that? You bring it up in a bar conversation and whatnot. I think for small business owners, people perceive that if we're not doing what brings in money, we're not working. And I remind them that's exactly the point. If I'm not making money, right? So I need to justify for people who are more, I think, regimented or disciplined. Not that you and I are not regimented or when was the last podcast?
Yo, that's evil. That's evil. What you just said just now is kind of evil.
Well, I'm talking about me too, right? When was my last time? It was a year and a half ago. But anyway, right, it's that, we have to put time and effort, and we decide when we want to put that time and effort into the business. So I think more so what the criticism should be by people is that you get to decide your fate a little bit more. But I was like, but, if you have a stable and steady job, it's a stable and steady job, right?
Right.
Yeah,
right.
So, I mean, that to me is the trade-off.
Right. I think one of the things that okay, maybe you can help me with this. And this is a thing that I don't even know how to say this. I'm one of those people that strongly believe in co-opetition.
Yeah, I do too.
Right?
I do too.
Hawaii, for some reason, and I guess it could be like this other place. I have, viewers from all over the world. But to me, I guess I notice it more here, ambiently aware because I'm here. But everyone's always so worried about what the other business that's doing what they're doing is doing. And I'm like, I try to be product focused. I try to be service focused. And I'm aware that my competition is doing X, but I really don't care what they're doing. Because at the end, I can't control that per se. So I'm not really watching. I'm not thinking, hey, they stole my idea. Like, I personally don't think that way. Do you ever find yourself trying to advise clients out of that, like, protected so much that you're not letting it out mentality?
Well, let me look from a lawyer's point of view. For me, my clients we call it an attorney-client relationship, right? So I approach it from a relationship. And there are times that I've had to explain to people, I was like, I don't think I can help you. And it's not because, I can't do it or whatnot. I just don't think we're a good fit. And I don't want to spend the whole time in terms of representing or helping you, arguing or trying to get you to understand what I'm saying. I would rather just, my billable hours are focused on the service and doing work for you. So I will try and refer them, if I can, to somebody who I was like, or I just give them a bunch and you can keep interviewing people. But I think the co-opetition thing or the competition thing here, in defense of people who are in that mentality, I feel like it's such a struggle to live here in Hawaii, whether you're a small business owner, you're a wage earner, or whatever situation you're in. And so you constantly are either living paycheck to paycheck, even if you are a small business owner, and you kind of have siege mentality of, I got to worry about this. I got to worry about this. I was like, oh, I can't. I was like, Hawaii's such a small place and I need to kind of like survive for myself. And
Right.
you feel that if anybody else is competing, they're taking away from your share of the pie. So I kind of get that. Added to that, I think there is a feeling that people in Hawaii is that it's an island community. I can handle it, and it's more of, I don't know if it's an offensive. I think it's more of a protective kind of status thing of I hate to use protecting your turf because it's not like it's a gang war or anything, but it's more like, I'm protecting my area of what I started and what I built. And
So it's a sense of ownership in a way.
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah. So that's kind of how I feel. But usually what I agree with is that, you should figure out it's kind of cliche, but any business seminar and things like that, they always say identify yourself. And I always like, and yeah, you should focus on yourself about what your product or service is and then make it unique. Because if you're going to go to work hating it because you're not delivering something that you believe in or something just for the sake of
not protecting it.
Yeah, and things like that, I was like, you're going to hate it. And I'm like, well, what's the point of... On the flip side, then, what is the point of that, too?
I like the comment that I just saw here on the live stream from Eston. And Eston's like, basically, it's better to just have your business plan set up in a way that you can go where they don't follow. So that way you don't have to be so worried about the competition. You said it, you mentioned it, be unique. I like to call it the USP, the unique selling point. That's the way I learned it in school. I think that's very cool. No, Joe, sorry, we don't have a regular daytime for the podcast. It kind of sort of flies. I'm trying to get there. I'm working on it. But thank you for stopping by.
So about unique selling points, I love that Doc is off the wall and flies by the seat of his pants. Not necessarily great for like scheduled, but I was like the creativity definitely flows in the free flow.
I work on highly, highly, highly flexible, and that gets me in trouble sometimes. But I tend to work on highly flexible because I want to be available. When someone comes up with something that they're like, oh man, I'm stuck. Like I have this, I don't really have this. The time frame is not working out how I want, but I need to get it done. I like to come in, a la Captain Save-A-Ho and fix it.
Yeah.
It's a shining armor thing I grew up with.
What I will notice is that a lot of the good thing about mom and pop and small businesses in Hawaii and things like that is there is a flexibility, or like, I want to take care of you because it's more of a family or community kind of thing. Now, obviously that gets in the way of, now you've become so flexible, you're going to say, I can help the whole market. And that's probably anybody, right, who defines their whole market as everyone that isn't a good business.
You know what? You just made me think of something. Here's something that we have to work on as a whole community. Okay. One is, everybody, me included. I'm not just picking on one people. I'm picking on everyone. We all as a community need to work on not saying shit like, oh, it's good enough.
Oh, yes.
No, we should be the best at everything. We should strive to be the best. And somehow we've made it okay to be okay. Like the fact that L&L still exists in Hawaii means we're cool with okay.
I'm not going to say anything about Eddie. But
you can't. You're the attorney. You can get in trouble. I don't care.
Oh, no, because there's friends and stuff. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
I got friends at L&L. I know people that run the joint, but it's not what it used to be. It doesn't taste as good as it used to, and there's way better things out there. But sometimes I'm in a hurry, so that's good enough. And I'm kind of like, I don't really like the good enough. I prefer that we at least try to hit B.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if that's just Hawaii anymore. I get the sense.
I think that's kind of sort of everywhere.
No offense to my fellow Americans and everything, but when did America go from this we're not okay with this situation to, nah, it's okay, we can deal with it. I mean, the political system can survive.
It's starting to slide a little bit.
So I mean, made in the USA and stuff like that, and there are other economies going into play, right? Things are cheaper made in China.
Right.
But usually when I go to Asia, and you and I know this because you and I both like going, especially when it comes to Japan, and maybe they're overly on the other side, right? You don't want to work till you die at your office place, but
Bogoshipo.
but right, there is a dedication to perfection of craft.
Right.
Whether it be making soba.
That's what I like the most about Japan.
Yeah.
Japan has that serious dedication to craft, and I really, really love that.
And so I went to Singapore. It was September. That was the first time I was there. Absolutely loved it. Now, some people might not like it because it's probably very controlled, very clean and stuff like that. But that's why I loved it. I was like, it was fantastic, from riding the subway, going to the airport, the streets, everything. I was like, to me, that was great. And because it was in a tropical weather, and a couple of my clients come from Singapore and stuff like that, I would say is there's maybe a slight disappointment in Hawaii politics, business, and law, and other aspects is that maybe we don't need to follow that model, but we could be better. We could be better in terms of being whatever we want to be, but I don't think we even have a consensus. And this is what you're saying about where we want to take the state.
That's the problem.
People are fine. There are people who are fine where it is.
Status quo.
Yeah. And I'm not even talking about people who want to go look towards more of a culture or historic roots or anything. I'm just talking about that middle group. But it's okay, right?
Well, see, here's where it gets funny to me. All right, so a large portion of Hawaii has this thing where we identify to a certain extent with Japanese culture, Korean culture, even Chinese culture, right? The way we do baby's 100 days, baby's first birthdays, the way we do weddings, we do bonsais at every weddings. We have a lot of cultural crossover. But the one thing that didn't stick, the one that should stick, is the work ethic.
The dedication
to craft. Like the work ethic and the dedication to craft is like, well, in that one, I'm going to pick the American side. So we have a cultural identity crisis in the sense that we have the lovely family values of the Hawaiian spirit.
Yeah.
We have the lovely, like, ohana and sharing and community and all of that. We have a lot of the politeness and whatnot that also comes from Polynesia, but then you add on your Asian, style. But then when we feel like being an asshole or work, we'll fly the American flag quick. And then so that cultural identity blur kind of makes it hard for us to know where we're going as a state. And I think a lot of time businesses tend to follow some of that same stuff.
Well, just looking at urban planning and just kind of the way the state has, especially Oahu and the Honolulu urban, because I know you love talking about transit. You already had an episode on rail and things like that. But the reality is that it's kind of funny to me when you look at it that we decided to adopt American style of let's create suburbs, plan that sprawl out, whereas that anybody who's been to a city, especially newer cities in Asia and stuff like that, is just very regimented and kind of like we're going to make it super expensive for you to live further and further away from the city, but we're going to contain you all in an urban
in a nice spot.
Yeah.
And that way that the country can kind of remain country, what a lot of people wish we still had here.
Yeah. But the trade-off to that is, well, then you're all packed into dense little queues, which some of us don't mind, and other people, no, we want to have we want yards and things like that, right? So, I mean, that would be the trade-off, but I would say that was the kind of, that to me has created a lot of, because we had poor urban planning, and on top of that, you live on an island with limited resources, everything needs to be shipped in, and then you decide to adopt, I mean, right, we're, no offense to Puerto Rico, but we're the only state that is an island state.
Right, don't be messing with my people.
Yeah, I'm not, but I'm just saying, being a state affords it certain, but the thing is in terms of planning, it's kind of, it's odd to have that Asian kind of spirit infused mixed with American style of legalism and politics.
And then, so honestly, of all the things, the biggest blur in that, the one that causes the most trouble to me is the respect level. Respect levels in this town are slowly going away. And a lot of it comes from not really caring how what you do is going to affect the other person anymore. And that's something that's, very big. And it should stay here, but for some reason it's disappearing. And also, I think the other one is having the confidence sort of in our own people. And what I mean by that, when my family ran Video Life, people would come to our store and be like, hey, here's this, 27-inch TV, and will you match the price of Circuit City? And I would say, yes. And they would say, oh,
I like to use Circuit City because I used to go there every weekend.
That's what was open at the time, right?
Yeah.
Best Buy was sort of brand new right about the time we closed. But, I would say yes instantly. And they go, oh, well, I didn't tell you what the price was. I go, don't worry, I'll match it. And then, say Circuit City price for the TV was $6.99. Mm-hmm. Our price for the TV was $4.99. And then we had paper invoices because that's the way Mom liked it. Mm-hmm. So I would go to the counter and I would start writing down $6.99. Uh-huh. And they'd be like, oh, but I thought it was $4.99. I know, yeah, but you wanted me to match Circuit City price, so I'm matching it. And they would look at me like, you're an asshole. And I'd be like, no, you're an asshole because you immediately thought that being a local company, we must not be as good as Circuit City.
Yeah.
You came to me with the attitude that somehow the big box, don't give a fuck about you mainland store was going to be better than the local store, when we were actually being fair, right? And then sometimes when people would say, well, I went back to Circuit City and they said, don't match your price, so can you come lower? And I'd be like, no. But see, ask my mom, she'd get mad at me. My answer was never no. My answer was fuck no. And she's like, you can't say that to customers. I go, Mom, they're not a customer until they buy something. Before they buy something, they're just ass on my carpet. Once they buy something, now you're a customer. Now you get customer service. Walking around acting like a dick, looking down on us, I don't give you any respect for us, And then, so they would say, well, how come they're going to go lower? You can't come any lower. And I'd be like, no. And they'll be like, why? And I'm like, okay, so you came here with your kid. So how would you like it if your kid came in and lied to you until you told them, okay, I know the truth. I've already discovered the truth. So why don't you tell me the truth before I have to tell you? And they'd be like, well, I don't see how that relates. Well, we sell the TV for $4.99 all the time. They sell it for $6.99. Mm-hmm. But when you go to them and tell them, I am smart enough to ask you to bring the price down to $4.99, mm-hmm. and then they say, okay, that means they lied to you from the gate. Why do you even want to buy something from somebody that's lying to you from first point? So I'm like, go there. Like, I really don't want to sell you shit. And I used to get in fights with my mom all the time about it, but that was my mentality. Like, we need to start loving, respecting, and supporting all the local brands whenever possible.
I think nowadays, and I think overall consumerism, or not consumerism, where consumers are nowadays is we've fed into this narrative is the customer is always right, especially in our especially for me in a profession where the client is sometimes wrong, and behind closed doors, I'm gonna tell you you're wrong. You're paying me to give you advice, so I'm telling you you're wrong, and we'll resolve and fix it whatever objective you have. But I'm just telling you. But especially in the retail space or stuff like that, the funny thing that I noticed, and maybe this will put a perspective on it. When in Asia or other or Europe, in other countries, I noticed that for food service, people don't really ask for substitutions. It's only really Americans are like, can you change this out for this and that and stuff like that? And they always give a kind of puzzled look and I noticed that here.
Yeah, the guys, you're right. They go, are they?
But even here in Hawaii, it's like, that's not on the menu item, but I'm going to ask anyway. And if you can't do it, then it's poor service on you. And I'm like, hold on. Somebody took time to craft and create this menu and stuff like that. Exactly kind of like your pricing and stuff like that for your TV. And if you don't want it at that price or whatever, that's fine. It was like, then you just leave and then you go to your other place. But
right.
to then this ties into why I think you do have good customer service to some extent, is the flexibility. But at a certain point, I think people here have been taught to push the envelope and just, you know what, there's no harm in asking. Well, there is a harm in asking when you feel that you're entitled to the change. I think that's and then that's when you're inserting yourself into the business owner's decision. You can give constructive feedback and criticism, is that I think your menu's too busy, I think your prices are too high. But to get this art of the haggle in on these kind of everyday, when I'm talking about like, you know, your coffee, your TV, or things like that, it was like, hold up a minute. It was like, I'm happy to speak to you as a customer, but there's no way that you can dictate to me what my prices are for you.
Oh yeah, I recently had one, and without throwing the person under the bus, the person sent me something and they wanted to cut it, and I sent them back a price. I'm like, oh, it'd be $40, and they were like, $40 is only going to take 4 minutes, and I was like, well, no, technically it's going to take 10 minutes, and what you're not accounting for is rent, insurance, taxes, a $60,000 laser machine, not a magic marker. 60 motherfucker is 60,000.
Did you write down all the zeros?
Yeah, and I'm like, and you got to add about 32 and a half years of graphic design experience. All of the above don't come free, pimping. So like, yeah, it's $40. Either buy it or, you know, move the fuck on. Like, but they get the attitude like they're hurting you by not spending $40. And I'm like, yo, like I do shit that costs into the thousands. I don't care.
So going to the, you know, how you talked about earlier, co-opetition and things like that. You know, there's some people who are fine with my billable rate, and there are other people. Why is it so? I was like, I'm happy to go give you a referral or something. There are probably more affordable or cheaper attorneys in terms of billable hours and things like that. But that is my price. If the market can't sustain my price, then I adjust my price at some point in choosing of my time or something like that. But I usually just say, you know, this is what it is, and if you don't like it, I mean, then you can seek another attorney. And the same thing goes for you, is that, well, you're more than welcome to find somebody else, right, to kind of do the services that you need, if you can find one.
Right.
Because for as long as I've known you, in terms of your skill set and things like that, yeah, I think there are people who can do some of the same or similar things, but I think that you bring a unique skill set overall, right?
Well, I'm going to bring my care to it, which I also, you know, to me is priceless because, well, it's me. And I mean, I guess that's a little arrogant to some extent. I want to bring in a comment that my buddy Bill posted in. Hello, brother Bill. Bill said people have a tendency to forget that customer service is better than price. And I really, really love that comment because I think a lot of people don't really appreciate customer service the way it is anymore. And I love customer service. I love anybody that, you know, goes out of their way to not like kiss my ass or whatever, but you can just tell when they care about what they're doing. Yo, I'm a fan for life. I'm going to be there no matter what, you know, right. So I love those spots.
I will frequently return back to a lot of places where they treat me well and things like that. I would buy a lot of my wine and things from Jill, if you're out there, from Sharoma's Wine and more.
Oh God, I missed that spot.
Yeah, I love going to the sake shop, but I heard Nadine will be in your neck of the woods soon.
Super excited about that.
Yes, but the thing is that they brought unique products, but also I would get the level of attention, and I was like, I'm fine paying your 10, 15, 20% markup. But I think the thing is that you and I see a sense of value in that. And the thing is I don't think everybody sees that same value. For them, the price is the price.
Right. And I really wonder why that is. Like, I wonder where that sets off. This is mean of me and maybe even a little bit assumptive of me, but I say it's the people that either work for somebody for so long that they don't know what it's like, or maybe their parents own a business they don't actually work in. So they get things handed to them. They don't really know the minutia behind it. So they don't understand how many people are bending over backwards to bring you that plate. You know, that plate that ends up on your table? There's about 14 people in the background of that. Right. For them, they show up, they sit down, plate shows up, right? I often bring it up because it's funny. I had a friend once that gave a place a 1-star review on Yelp because they didn't take reservations.
And
I'm like, what the fuck? Sorry. I mean, to this day, it doesn't make me angry, but it cracks me up. Like, how do you give somebody it's their business. They can decide whether to take reservations or not.
Let's not go into Yelp territory.
Let's stay away from Yelp.
I always I love many of you, but for the bad Yelper. So, right, it's just like anything is that you're always going to have a set of bad people or good people, but a lot of times the bad people, like bad Yelpers, and then you see things like that, and it makes you kind of angry as a business owner. Is like, I worked my the quintessential. Oh, I gave this place a 1-star or 2-star because the waiter wasn't cute enough. I was like, what does that have anything to do with the food service, right?
That's crazy. I didn't get a bad review, but I got a comment one from a customer who was mad because they came all the way from Kailua. Kailua to Kaka'ako is 17 miles. I got friends that run that shit every day, right? 17 miles, right? I know it takes a long time because of traffic. That's not my problem. But I came all the way to Kaka'ako, and there's no parking. I am really frustrated. I drove all the way down here. I had to put my kid in the car. And I'm like, all right, listen. I wear a condom, so I don't have no kids. So fuck you and your kid. You made that decision. Why is it my fault that you have a kid you had to put in the car, right? And I know that sounds like asshole, but it's a true story. Like, you can't hold somebody else accountable for decisions you make. Also, you live in Kailua. You can live in town. It's open. It's free. You don't need. It's not an elite gated community. You know, you made an executive decision to move to Kailua. Why? Because you like the country. You like the fresh air. You like the beach. You like the general California-ness of Kailua. That's your problem.
I like that.
That's your problem. Like, my business is in town. If you want to frequent it, cool.
You're talking about Southern California, right? Not like North.
Dude, tell me Kailua doesn't look like San Diego.
That's why I said Southern Cal. I would see good money, or I would love it if somebody could create build better mousetrap, build a better Yelp. And what I mean by that is, I would like to begin to see that people create dimensions or metrics that are important to them as a reviewer when they are, and that allows you as somebody searching to find somebody who has similar, we already do it for like personal ads and things like that. It tries to match you up by dimensions, right? Because the thing is that maybe she cares about parking and somebody else cares for parking. So they're going to find a review that matches is that don't go to this place if you like parking. As opposed to this kind of generic like catch-all is that this is 5 stars on these. It was like, it's just too kind of, it's not organic
But
enough.
To me, the parking is lazy because Kaka'ako, there's parking.
But
you just got to park 3 blocks and walk.
But that's what I'm saying is we're not really going to a ranking of your business, more of a review about what aspects of the.
Yeah, I'm normally if I'm reading reviews, I'm looking for something that tells me this is the spot. Not really the people's opinion, because opinions are subjective. Yeah, but like right now, we're drinking bourbon, and this is kind of amazing. Some people say, "Oh, I don't like it; it's too sweet."
Larceny. Anyway,
so like. I tend to not pay attention to reviews. I know that, like, for instance, Star Wars, everyone said it sucked. I'm a diehard Star Wars fan. There's no such thing as sucked in the Star Wars universe.
I liked it.
Except Episode 1.
I didn't. I'm not going to say I liked Episode 1.
If you did, I'll punch your ass in the face here. It'll be a hate crime for punching the gay dude in the face. But no, Episode 1 sucked.
I always do a marathon when the next one comes out and watch them in sequence.
Genki Dayo.
But I always skip Episode 1.
All right. That's the machete cut is what they call it, right?
Yes.
So, so for me, normally when I'm searching reviews, I am looking for something where somebody that has a similar subjectability to what I'm into.
Right.
And I get it. I get stuff out of that. But Bill brought it up in the chat. I think it was either Bill or Esther, one of them talked about people's entitledness is what's kind of killing it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. So you and I have had this discussion. So my friends on the left and on the right are probably, I'm going to have no friends after. That's okay. I love video games and I'm a lawyer, so it's okay. I already don't have friends. And my close friend always tells me to shut up. Hi, Kev. Anyway.
Hi, Kev.
Yeah. So I think I told you about this, what my kind of general painting in broad strokes. Again, there's caveat and there's always exceptions to the rule. But what I see in American politics on the extreme left and then the extreme right is a salience or tendency on the right side, right? I can do whatever I want, and I can be as dumb as I want and stuff like that. Like, there is no global warming. I was like, I can have, like I said, I can be as stupid as I want, right? And we only need to, if you voted for him, I'm sorry, we probably can't be friends, or I find it extremely difficult to speak to you about at least politics. We can have bourbon. Anyway, right, on that side is like, yeah, the news is wrong, or right. On the left, and the only reason why I think I'm more sympathetic to the left currently is because given our current political state. But anyway, is they're all about let's give people as many chances, which I get, it's tough and difficult. But at a certain point, it becomes beyond the pale. And also, those two ends begin to marry up into the middle part of America, where you have people saying, you can be as stupid or whatever you want. And on the left, we'll give you as many chances as humanly possible. And so you've created this toxic mix of the average American of, I know absolutely nothing, but I have these rights and these protections. And I'm not talking about worker protection. I'm just talking about the general sense of, we need to protect this, we need to save this. And so that's why I'm saying in broad strokes, that's where I see what people distill from the high. So, right, politicos, lawyers, and they're all talking up here, but what gets distilled down through the media and everything are these distillations of discourse, right? Government regulation. I want to be as free as I want on this side. And to me, that's created this toxic mix in the middle of, for the average American or the average kind of person, that is like, holy shit, you're as stupid as you want and you think you're going to get as many outs and saves as possible. And I'm like, this is not a viable like citizenry. This does not make any sense.
Well, part of that has to do with somewhere in the, I want to call it like the last 10, maybe 15 years, there's been a big change in understanding between rights and privileges per se. Mm-hmm. Like, people say, I have a right to drive. That's actually a privilege. That's not a right.
No, yeah.
People don't understand the basic stuff. Like, I have a right to do X. No, you don't have a right. Well, I'm a customer and I have a right to be here. No, because this is my private property at the time. Even though I am subletting it for someone, I am the person in charge of it at the time, and I don't want you here, so I need you to get the hell out before I make you get out.
You hit the nail right on the head, because that's exactly what I feel is they understand they have rights. That's my leftist kind of right. But on the right side, they don't know what those rights are. They just like spout whatever. No, this is not how this works.
This is a shout out to all my Facebook lawyers out there who are forever like in the middle of a discourse about something. We're trying to talk about something on it, and somebody will say, well, so-and-so is against the law or not against the law. And I'm like, do you know the law behind that? Like, when did you become a Facebook lawyer?
So anytime a court case comes out, so I love you and I know, because I love podcasts, we did blogs and whatnot, and the internet and self-publishing has made it a great tool for communication. Unfortunately, that equal distribution of that power, thanks to Breitbart and all these kind of fake news, true fake news.
I like fake nudes.
I know you do. we can Photoshop that and talk about, again, solid after dark. But I think the issue is that it's also given voice to a long of wrong-headed, or, no, you're just wrong. There is no basis for that. But the amplification of the internet and things like that, right? That makes them, I'm published. I'm I can say whatever I want, right? And I'm like, yeah, but it's not true. It's
No,
not
no, you can't. Well, that goes to scream. I think people don't understand this. The screaming fire in the crowded theater thing now pertains to cyberspace.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I mean that would be nice. I think as I read, there are great Reddit posts, obviously, but I've also like. When you remember, right, the joke is always, don't go into the comment section of anything and stuff like that. And
Reddit's the bomb. That's my hangout.
I know, that's why I said I love Reddit, but I'm just thinking about comments.
It's a scary space. If you're into safe space, stay the fuck off of Reddit. I want to bring up something real quick. Is Eston mentioned that nobody ever reads HRS, and I get that because I say it all the time. Like We talked about rail like a couple minutes ago. We're talking about how we can make funding. I say right now, if the police would give everyone a ticket for going into the crosswalk once the numbers started, we could pay for rail in a week and a half, right? And I know they have other things to do, and I know they got they don't really want to bother people about it. But the reason why that one pisses me off so much is because I watch people do it constantly, and then they get in it and they take their time and they piddle across the street. I even had a sheriff who walked in and then saw me coming and then stopped. He kind of got like not halfway, but like a quarter way, and he's waving me through. Like, no, go ahead. And I'm like, well, technically, where you are, I can't go ahead because the rule about turning while there's someone in the crosswalk has to do with endangering them. And because this is one way to one way, there's no halfway line. So I would be endangering you. And second of all,
were they on their phone?
He did have his phone in his hand, but he wasn't looking at it. And then I'm like, and second of all, you, my friend, the sheriff himself, are in violation of HRS 291-33C. Don't walk in the goddamn crosswalk once the numbers start counting. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, why the fuck do I know that? Because when they first said they're changing the law, it was on the news for about 2 days. There was a commercial. And my first thing was, I better go read it so I know exactly what it is. Because being pigmentally skilled, I get pulled over a lot more than the pigmentally challenged.
I like that. I like that. I'm going to talk to my partner about that for employment discrimination.
This person was, we bring it up in court. This person was violated employment because they were pigmentally skilled. When there was a
he would think that was
person of lesser caliber who was pigmentally challenged got the position instead. I like to use that so people can stop saying I'm race baiting because people think it's always about race, but it's just a thing. Like, and when I see so many people with a carriage walk across the street, literally 75 yards away from the actual crosswalk, they're either walking with a carriage or they're walking with a baby or they got a baby in their hand. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, and if we were to bang you, we'd be wrong. Like, yo, what the hell are you doing? It was like a little bit further you could have walked safely. And even it's the crosswalks that don't even have a light. Like, we have no choice but to stop for you. Mm-hmm. So I just wish we could fix that.
So about the point about nobody reading so HRS stands for Hawaii Revised Statutes.
Sorry, I went inside baseball again.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, right? Lawyer lingo is all about inside baseball. We use Latin phrases. It's like, what the hell is subpoena?
I was gonna do a Latin phrase. I was gonna do a Latin phrase, but I can't for the life of me remember the incantation for Harry Potter. So that was going to be my Latin phrase.
Of course you would use Harry Potter. I hate Harry Potter. I love Star Wars. That's Harry Potter's not. Anyway, about not reading. I mean, right, there's whole sections of the code that I'm not familiar with. I'm not a criminal attorney. It's amazing that you can recite the crosswalk citation. But
like I said, the ones where I might get in trouble for, I know what they are. So when the police pull me over, I can give them the code right away.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, at some point, let's not get all like political philosophs and in age of enlightenment. But at a certain time, our society has become so large and complex that yes, we decided to codify laws, create constitutions, and in a Hobbesian way, Leviathan, right, giving up some small rights of your power and creating a government. And so
Hobbesian. I wish I had like a bell.
Hobbes.
Ding, ding,
yeah,
ding, ding.
yeah. Right. And so the thing is that, we have to write this all down to have a rule of law that says these are the rules. Like, right, it's your Monopoly guidebook. Does everybody read the Monopoly instructions? No, but
No.
it's if there is a dispute, a problem, or an issue,
you can go to the book, right?
And so that's kind of what it's become now is that it's a library of laws. And the thing is that, yeah, it's true that you're probably not going to read it, but either an attorney representing you, or if you are an engaged and active and educated citizen, you know that if there's something affecting you, you know where to turn to about, especially when they're proposing a change in law. If you've ever read a bill that's been introduced, so I also worked in the legislature, right? Of course. Anyway, right, if they're changing the law, you will see the way that they write for changes into the bill about striking out and things like that. So you can see what, if this did go into effect in law, how it's being changed. So the thing is that a lot of it, unfortunately, is you just got to do it yourself.
Right. Well, before we get out of here, the one thing I want to bring up to everyone, because, with Solid, our intention is to hopefully get you on something that you can take away.
I'm going to be taking away all his Star Wars memorabilia.
How about you bring your butt back in the frame? I don't stink. Normally you over here trying to get close to me. Now you like creeping away.
Well, I'm like all hot from the tea and like, nah, just kidding.
I look at your cheeks, but you just turned red than a mofo.
You know what's really funny? I did the 23andMe, and sometimes I do get red, but for the vast majority, I don't. But it's funny. So like the 23andMe report, sorry to
It says you're Mongolian?
It is funny.
Are you Genghis Khan?
No, I wish I was. I was like, it would go through all the markers and says, it's like reading like the way the reports read, it kind of reads like a fortune teller thing. And I was like, likely not to get flush. And yeah, usually I don't get the Asian blush.
It said likely not to get flushed.
Yeah, anyway, sorry, my little random. I thought it was interesting, but
it is interesting.
But I was hoping I was one of those people who would have like, sub-Saharan African or like some
I know, because you keep asking me.
by insertion, is that what you're talking about? No, unfortunately.
Hey, Noah.
When I read my DNA report, it was just very boring, and I was like, oh.
No, you really didn't get any Genghis Khan?
No, I am 87% Chinese.
Damn.
So
I am praying to get. I want to like that guy is part of Genghis Khan.
No,
so I could go Khan. Actually, I'd rather be Kublai
Khan. Yeah, that. Wow, you should play Civ too. I'm a video game player too.
Come on. It's not from Civ. It's from Netflix, Marco Polo.
I know.
Anyway, we were supposed to be getting to an advice. My advice is, it's not even advice. It's a wish of mine. I'm putting my hands together and be like, oh, I wish people would understand or go back to understanding something that we all learned in 6th grade. When we were in 6th grade, we started to learn about...
But your 6th grade was different than mine.
Shut up. We learned about civic responsibility. And I think anymore, everybody wants the government to take care of this. And it's not, the handouts thing or this and that or control or none of that. The gun laws, all of that is crazy. What I mean is basic civic responsibility. What you normally hear is, well, I don't do so-and-so because I'm not into politics.
Right.
The Greek root of the word politico is polititi. It means person, citizen of a community where the sum of all of those people make the greater whole. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's a certain amount of importance that goes with citizenry.
So my feeling as a corollary or an addendum to that is that I absolutely agree with that. I think the way you get there, though, is to educate people and let them understand is by you choosing not to be engaged or informed, you are giving up that space, that right or that ability to engage to somebody else. And that somebody else isn't you. They're going to be advocating for their interests and what they want out of their government and out of their society.
Yep.
So the less that you decide to be engaged, and I do get it. I mean,
and we scream victim afterwards.
Right. I was like, I understand working people. I was like, I don't have time and stuff like that. And I get it. And so you want to spend time doing less stressful things. And politics and law are not necessarily everybody's love of life. But
Well, I think the thing is, the politics from a legislative standpoint, or trying to be a governor, senator, mayor, representative, council person, whatever, that's politics. But being a citizen is not necessarily politics, right? If you're going from that vernacular, right?
Yeah.
I mean, civic responsibilities such as even just picking up your own shit, you know, or like don't be an asshole,
But,
or
I mean-
if there's a problem, call someone. Don't complain. Call someone. Like,
but to tie this back in, I think that's exactly why you hit it on the head again. Is that you got that in 6th grade. I don't know if we're educating kids nowadays is that you want to be involved in this process because we're afforded this ability.
Right.
Now it's more go do this, go do that, be on Facebook, be on Instagram, or, you know, go to the mall or go shopping, or it was like, and I think, as I said, it's a very key pivotal thing is to let people know, just letting you know every time that you choose to disengage, it's not like you can get that time and that effort back. It's gone.
yes, it's gone. It's lost
and
chance.
you've given up your ability to be at the table, say something or understand something, and you've given it up to somebody else. And
So I'll give you my recent civic responsibility. I was kind of angry about the fact that a lot of the, let's call it alternative coin buying houses are being blocked in Hawaii. So Topher and I were out grabbing a bite to eat, and I saw Governor Ige. And I yelled at him. I was like, "Hey, Governor Ige, can you please let us buy Bitcoin back and forth in our state? Like, what I do with my money is technically none of your damn business as long as I pay taxes." And he kind of looked, and then he was like, "Where's that voice coming from?" And he saw me in the truck, and then he walked in to knock assignment. What I did was, after that, was the most dumbest thing ever. My phone fell. So I went to go reach under my seat to grab the phone, and the two big sheriffs started walking towards the truck. And I'm like, whoa, okay, better than not bend over. I kind of stopped halfway. I was like, shit.
Wait, you didn't want to bend over.
No.
Oh, no.
Dude, I was about to get a
Sus.
cat popped in my ass for trying to pick up I literally dropped my phone, but I forgot. You can't yell shit at the governor and then reach under your seat. That's a good way to get shot,
Yeah.
especially when you're pigmentally skilled.
Yeah, did he take 38 more minutes to respond to you after you ate?
All right, I was going to save that one for the tech show.
Sorry.
So normally before we go, what we like to do is give you an opportunity to promote something that you're really into. Like I call it a pick or a tip or a little advice. If you got anything that you want to share with the community, what is it?
I'm doing a talk at Manoa Innovation Center. Yay, Manoa Innovation. I like to call it Mick or Mickey. Am I the only? Anyway, I'm doing a talk at Manoa Innovation Center about legal issues for starting a business, and it's all that good stuff that I talk about: entity choice between LLCs, corporations. I brought in Valerie Koenig, and she does a lot of business coaching and planning for especially multiple business owners about their operating agreements and bylaws, or about putting together a board of advisors helping your business. Because I find a lot of small business owners are completely new ones, they're clueless. They don't, and I always tell them is because you don't have that water cooler talk. You don't have that network. So you got to go find yourselves mentors and advisors or people that you have lunch with to kind of help you through the woods. But anyway, doing a talk next week, Wednesday at Manoa Innovation Center around lunchtime. So you can find the information on Hew and Bordenave, Bordenave. He's a Maui boy, believe it or not, with that French. Anyway,
I have the funniest names for whatever he call himself. Beauvovier. I was like, "Hey, are you hanging out at Beauvovier and Hew?" He's like, "What?"
Anyway, so I'll be talking about all that fun stuff that I find interesting. So come check it out. Come hang out, and just if you're a new business owner or even if you're an old pro, it's a good refresher. As my friend Capson. You should get Capson on anyway. Hi Capson.
Capson.
You should always kind of get refreshers, because there's a lot of people who operate and own businesses that on the governance and the legal side that they sometimes I was like, Have you been filing zero returns for this shelf company? No. You kind of should. And there's things like that. And it's like, about that. So, yeah, I it'll be a good time. And you've been to my talk, so I usually I'll do some boring the Hawaii revised statutes, and then we will talk story like this. I sometimes just like this. I'll be honest, I don't like sitting and talking and lecturing at people. I'd rather just sit down and talk story.
Communicate, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I always go because you always have good cookies.
That's my assistant. That's Caleb's job.
All right, so my pick for this week, I'm gonna attempt to brown nose to Chef Will real quick because I want to get his goofy ass on my show.
Yes, Will Chen, you would love him. You think I'm a loud Chinese Asian? That man has a deep booming voice, and that's why I listen to him.
So
he's like, here, eat this.
He has this really cool service called Freshbox, and you can find it. I'm gonna say it's highfreshbox.com. And the high stands for Hawaii, but it's really cool. Basically, what they do is they send you a box. It has 3 meals for 2 people in it. It basically roughly translates to about $12 a meal, and it has everything in it. Like, it's delivered for you, all the ingredients you need are there. You basically follow the instructions, you cook it, and I think every time they do a new menu, you have 2 options. Let's check what's on the menu this go around. I'm probably gonna start salivating. They have the regular menu and they have the gluten-free menu. It was super funny because my friend got his box to the shop and I was like, why does it say girlfriend on it? I thought Will was like, calling him out. Like, it said girlfriend. And he's like, dumbass, that's gluten-free. And I was like, oh, the fuck are you gluten-free for? You don't have celiac disease. Anyway.
So guess what else was on my 23andMe report?
You got celiac disease?
No. There's 2 markers for it, and I have one. So it says you're likely not. But it was like, oh, I thought that was funny because I always like the gluten-free thing.
I'll give your ass 2 markers.
I love it.
Anyway, so Freshbox, like on the menu this go around for the people who like to eat real food, flat iron steak, I guess, ong choy salad. I hope I didn't mess up that Chineseness. Soy glazed chicken with apple hash, cod and chilled black bean noodles. Damn, that sound good.
I'm starving.
And then in the girlfriend menu, or gluten-free or poser menu, there's sweet and sour ono, flat iron with ong choy. Oh, fuck, that's gluten-free too? I'm going to add gluten to mine so that just to be a dick. And then turkey and sweet potato bowl. But anyway, if you get your orders in, like they send the box to your house, and it's a kind of cool thing to do. Because it's a little bit healthy with our, but even to freshen up, your life. Like if you just want to have like date night at home and you don't know how to cook for shit, go see Chef Will, get that high fresh box, buy one, have it come to your house. You can make 3 meals. And there'll probably be some kids later, and you can name him Will. It's a pretty common American name for Chinese kids.
I enjoy that. I mean, I think, if I understand correctly, there's enough for 2 people. So you have 2 of you.
Shit.
Yeah. So you and Karen, yeah.
No, I'm going to eat both of them joints by myself, really. Okay. So that was my pick for the week. Check out High Fresh Box, or just called Freshbox, but the website is highfreshbox.com. It's really worth getting into. And Will, see, I plugged your shit. Wait, I plugged your product. so please come to my show.
Yes, please.
And I won't have to lower my chair like I had to do for Ryan, so I can be the same height as him. Me and Will are roughly the same size.
Are you? I thought
Will's bigger than me, dude.
Yeah. No, Will, you're going to be here one day when we do our podcast anyway. So I'm just going to have Doc trap your ass here anyway.
Okay, so speaking of your podcast, promote that real quick.
So we're gonna be relaunching because I started it about as I was actually making fun of me more than I was making Doc. I had launched a podcast. It was called Gay Geek and Gastro, and so anybody who knows me, we like talking about. Actually, I'm missing RuPaul's Drag Race because I forgot about that. Anyway, but we talk about all things gay, geeky. So lots of comic book, movies, video games, and food stuff because anybody who knows Chef Will Chen knows he loves Marvel comics and cooking and food, and he is super awesome.
That is my favorite stuff.
I highly recommend Freshbox. And then when we get the podcast back and up and running, thanks to Doc, because Doc is the awesome. He is like the king of polymaths. Jack of all trades, polymath. Anyway, I was like,
what?
Polymath.
I thought you was calling me polyamorous.
No, oh my God. Anyway, check us out later. Thanks for joining us. I had so much fun, and I'm finally glad we got to do this. So,
Me too. I just realized we shot the whole thing, and I deleted my my logo from the background. That's okay. I'll put it back in post. Anyway,
the magic of Photoshop.
you can find me all over the interwebs. I am DOCROCK on most everything. Thank you guys for watching the Solid Podcast. Yes, Joe, we are going to try to get a regular time. That's kind of on me. I've been super busy lately, but I want to kind of get it nailed out. Even if you have an idea of like what day of the week works best for you, let me know. I'll try to make it flex. My goal really is to do twice a week, but half the time I'm fighting, looking for guests or waiting for my producer, Topher, who's in the background, not to be busy.
Hey, you were supposed to at least wave hello.
Yeah,
that doesn't
That's
count.
not count, Topher. Anyway, so you can find this episode edited. It will be on solid.fm. I will attempt to put show notes in to talk about things we talked about. And hey, Tofi, yay! Everybody say what's up, Tofi. Without him, this shit doesn't happen because he connects the wires and duct tapes the shit and refills the whiskey glass.
Speaking of RuPaul's Drag Race, duct tape. No, just kidding.
Oh my God, this guy. Anyway, thank you guys so much. It's been a blast. I really, really like the live format. I have been playing back and forth with live format versus recorded and posted later. I like the live format because I love talking to you. Bill, Eston, Noah, let's see, Joe came through, DJ Elite came through, Chris Garth, man, thank you guys for popping in. My brother-in-law, Corey, Sister Eddie, thank you guys. I hope you guys learned something. And be on the lookout, coming up soon, also on the same network. Me and Jerome will be shooting again. We'll probably go live Sunday night with the tech show. It depends on whether Jerome's breastfeeding or not.
That's not a.
That was mean. He's babysitting. I mean, not breastfeeding. Wait, I can't take the shot while I'm doing the show.
Yeah, you can. Thanks for joining, and I know Doc is the carry, but thanks for your questions, and I hope we got to answer some of them. I had a lot of fun. Thanks.
All right, so we'll have you back, and maybe next time we won't take an hour and a half to do the damn
maybe
show.
we can not talk about the boring law stuff. We can talk about the other stuff.
All right, guys, thank you. Don't forget to support the show. If you like it, press like. Please subscribe. Don't forget to leave us feedback. You can subscribe again on iTunes. Just go to solid.fm. All the links are there, and we'll see y'all again soon.
Bye.
Hui ho.
What's good, people? It's your man CJ Fresh, battling the forces of whackness since 1982. You are now listening to the Solid Podcast, hosted by my main man, Doc Rock.
ドッグロックによるザ・ソリッドポッドキャストをお届けいたします。
This is the dumbest thing to take this long to put a podcast together.
And here he is, my Uncle Doc. He's smart.
Believe me,